Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got to talk about Democrat lunacy part 2. Apparently, we got the new said DNC vice chair, and that is David Hogg. And we need a little background on David Hogg. This guy is very young, and I would expect this guy is not going to get the Democratic Party anywhere. This guy's a naive 24-year-old. This guy's just 4 years older than me. It's like, can you imagine me being a leader of the GOP or something like that? I'd be like, no, thank you. I would rather, in this case, go help out somewhere else. But this guy's very interesting, and I can relate to this guy a lot. I have sympathy for him. And hear me out. But there's a reason why they chose this clown, David Hogg, to be the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. He is a survivor of the Parkland shooting. Is it called the Parkland shooting? Something like that? Yeah, Parkland High School shooting. He was in high school when this class had happened, that shooting. And ever since then, he became a gun right advocate. I mean, every single person that survived a gun shooting or something like that, a school shooting, they end up becoming a gun control advocate. But here's the problem. The issue of violence in schools with guns is not because of guns. It's because of people, stupid people, and their mental health. I can take a look and point to you specifically on the Parkland High School shooting. It makes me angry. Obviously, we have idiots that decide to shoot up schools, and it's just absolutely tragic. And as you can see, this is February 14th, 2018, just 6 years ago, guys. Just 6 years. And it's just horrific. Absolutely horrific. And the fact that we make politics out of this. Let's see, 17 people died? 17 people are injured? And you're making politics out of this? I do understand and sympathize with David Hogg. He has gone through tragic trauma, seeing his classmates getting shot up. And actually, yes, he has post-traumatic stress disorder from this said event. So I have sympathy for him. And that's why I'm saying, hey, you know what? It's not necessarily his fault that he's become such a far-left Marxist, because it's actually the Democrats, how sick they are to take this man who's coping from a tragedy and brainwash him and use his PTSD to blame Republicans. So obviously, it's just horrific that in two ways this shooting had to happen, and that we have people like David Hogg politicizing this mass murder of innocent people. I would like to know who Mr. Cruz is. He's the perpetrator. I'm sure we all know Nicholas Jacob Cruz. He is the perpetrator, the killer in this said motive. He has been sentenced to death, I want to believe. Yeah, criminal penalty, 34 consecutive life sentences, without the possibility of parole. He, of course, 17 counts of premeditated first-degree murder. I don't think he's dead yet. Was he sentenced to death? Yeah, they intended to give him the death penalty. But here's the deal, though. I would like to know why was Cruz like this? As you can see, Wikipedia is already trying to deter that basically that this, of course, is a result of racism, a result of homophobia. It says here, Cruz had been known for behavioral problems since preschool, and as a teenager on social media, he shared his obsessions with mass shootings and expressed racist and anti-Semitic, homophobic, and xenophobic views. And I think that's BS, by the way. I think that's his own problem. But it says that he's obsessed with mass shootings. This is very similar to the Sandy Hook shooting, which we had the perpetrator of that shooting, that being, let's see, Adam Lanza, an autistic graduate who was diagnosed with depression and extreme disorders and mental health, and with zero treatment, okay? And Adam Lanza did the unthinkable. He went and took his, and he had the same obsession as Cruz. He is obsessed with mass shootings. He said, I can tell you, Adam Lanza knew every mass shooting and every single gun they used, every single man who committed them. You could tell this guy who committed this shooting, and he'll tell you the name of this perpetrator. He'll tell you how many people that he've killed, and how many, and what type of gun he used. And he'll tell you what this guy, if he was convicted, if he was death penalty, something, etc., etc., etc. Adam Lanza was obsessed with being a mass shooter. That's what the number one thing he wanted to do. And just one day in December 14th, he woke up one day and decided to be that. So obviously everything is preventable in a mass shooting, and Democrats want to say nothing's preventable. It's actually guns that are people's fault, not actually the perpetrator, right? Adam Lanza didn't get treatment. I'm not defending him. I'm defending him in the cases that they did nothing to this lunatic, and this lunatic was allowed to walk the streets. And really, we have gun right advocates like this guy, David Hogg, that thinks that that the perpetrator, Mr. Cruz, isn't to blame. David Hogg is blaming an object. Nothing. It's a handgun. How big is a handgun? A centimeter? I don't know my sizes. But you can pick it up. It's a tiny object over a human being with choices and consequences. Well, Mr. Cruz can sleep in his cell in peace, knowing that this guy is actually blaming an object instead of him. Let me make myself clear. The Democrats and Mr. Hogg wants to blame me for school shootings and blame all of us for school shootings. Really? Mr. Hogg, give me a break. I'm not going to say, because I know, Mr. Hogg, you went through a lot. Miss J.D. Vance said it best when Gus Waltz, Tim Waltz's autistic son, abnormal son in other words, experienced a shooting at a local community center in St. Paul. J.D. Vance didn't rebuke this. He didn't say, "Oh, you're blaming guns again, Tim. Tim, you can't do this." No, J.D. Vance, he said it best. "Tim, I didn't know that your son went through a shooting. I'm so sorry." He didn't go and revert the effort, but God, we need to do this and this and this. He left it at that. He showed compassion. He showed sympathy. But despite that, people, these gun control lunatics will go off and they say, "Oh, that doesn't matter because J.D. Vance is himself in the situation." Yeah, we are trying to solve the situation. Install more mental facilities and get people more mental help. but the Democrats keep shutting it down because part of it is Democrats are gaining money from this. They're gaining money over the issue of gun control. And when we say, hey, look, time to get some more mental health facilities, that eliminates the issue of guns. That's not a problem. They do not want you to recognize that it's not the guns that are the problem. It's mental health. It's mental health, guys. Do not feel bad ever when there's a shooting. You can feel sad, you can feel bad, but don't blame it on yourself. You did nothing wrong. You didn't do the shooting. All you did is own a firearm. That is your constitutional right that David Hogg understandingly has become very, very obsessed. This guy has went ahead and said out loud that, quote, you don't have a right to own a gun. Fact check, you do have a right to own a gun. And at first I'm like, oh, how is this guy so demented? And understandably, this guy went through a shooting. He has PTSD and radical views on guns because of that issue, because of what he went through. That is understandable. That is sympathetic. So I can give David Hogg benefit of the doubt, but that doesn't mean I'm giving him the leeway. No way, Mr. Hogg. I gave the shooter benefit of the doubt that he was mentally ill. Therefore, he still should be locked up in prison, and he should spend the 34 life sentences there. I don't care if he has mental illness or what. Same deal with David Hogg. Oh, David Hogg went through a mass shooting, therefore he shouldn't be allowed to take everyone's guns away. Really? We can understand where he's coming from, but that doesn't mean it's okay. Making myself clear here. So, obviously, this Democratic Party, they're more than ever determined to lose. We're going to continue to take a look at Greg and his captures of the clown show, as he called it, that went on with the DNC leadership. This is absolutely Democrats have learned nothing from this election. They cannot give it up. And here's the thing, you can't have it both ways, Democrats. You want to win? That means you got to get rid of your woke lunacy. You want to keep your woke lunacy? Okay, you can give Republicans a golden age of strings of elections. Can't have it both ways. You got to choose. But let's take a look at this caption and see literally how this whole clown show process went forward.
My name is Troy Blackwell. I know that I'm a new face to many of you, but I'm a proud Afro-Latino from the South Bronx, New York. I got into this work because at the age of 18, unfortunately, I was the victim of a hate crime. Today, I stand before you as one of the first non-binary candidates to run in the DNC's 177-year history. I'm proud to be the only Afro-Latino in this race. I'm asking you to take a chance on someone like me, a proud, non-binary Afro-Latino from the South Bronx.
The final tally of votes, Troy Blackwell, 0.
Oh boy, yeah, he's mad. So that's what happens. Honestly, I don't expect anything from those people, but if he's getting 0 votes, imagine how many votes of approval would he get from the general American people. Hey, vote for me because I'm an Afro-Latino. I am a non-binary Afro-Latino. I bet you anything, this guy's boo-hoo whining and crying that he got 0 votes and he's calling it a hate crime. I can't necessarily say that Mr. Blackwell didn't go through a hate crime. That's not my place. I think it's very irrelevant that he's bringing that up. You're supposed to rise past your hate crime, right? That's how you become stronger, not go back into history and talk about it. But obviously, this is the first glimpse of the process. Let's go ahead and see more woke lunacy. And then again, we just...
Stop research.
Okay. You're being rude again, Ad. Okay, the point is, they're talking about race. This guy was an Afro-Latino. The next guy we're talking about is a Native American. Now, I don't care if you're Black, Hispanic. The Trump administration is extremely diverse. RFK is a Catholic. You got Tulsi Gabbard. She is Samoan. You got, who else do we have? Oh yes, you got Kash Patel. He is Indian. But the difference between that and this, they don't go around and say, Tulsi Gabbard doesn't go around and say, Samoan woman! I'm a Samoan woman! Look at me! Like all these people are doing is mentoring themselves. It's all about them. They're talking about themselves. Vote for me because I'm this, and this, and this. But in the RNC and other normal chairmanship, they actually talk about you. They talk about you. They talk about you. That's what they want to hear. Not about me. It's not about you. Not about you, mister. It's actually about your audience. Why should they vote for you? Not because you're a Native American. Not because you're a Samoan. Not because you're an Afro-Latino. Why? What are you committed to do to these people? How are you going to change these people's lives? See how that works? Okay, this is muted.
So local jagaido tkozu sa e yisna sha kad ko etsi iskleji bikeya na kostun will yagi e ba ahye dani zin. Welcome. The Democratic National Committee wishes to acknowledge that we gather together to state our values on lands that have been stewarded through many centuries by the ancestors and the descendants of tribal nations who have been here since time immemorial. We honor the communities native to this continent and recognize that our country was built on indigenous lands.
Okay, so clearly you understand how this guy's doing. He's doing the Native American. I mean, the left will take my footage and my remarks as racist and bigoted. It's not. We are clearly because people that can be the left can't see the grift, right? I don't care about this guy's race. I don't want to hear about this guy's race. When you start talking about your race to me, I start to have negative feelings. No, I don't want to hear about it. Because all it shows is you care about you. It's about you, not about me. Especially when you are committed to change. You're working for the American people. And you're talking about yourself. No, talk about me. Talk about us as a community. How are you going to help us win as a party? Not about you. So every single one of these candidates are going to talk about themselves and how they're unique and how they're diverse and why we should vote for them because they're so special and diverse and diversity and blah, 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 blah. So let's continue.
People are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We are sick and tired of being the last one hired and the first one fired. We are sick and tired of the word white, working class being a code word for whiteness.
That's not going to suit well for the American people. I'm just saying. Republicans would take a victory lap if this woman won. She didn't. But if you had a DNC chairwoman that went and demonized white, normal, working people, and then again, we should demonize no race, right? But she's demonizing the majority of Americans, basically. That's not gonna drive white people to go and vote for you. So obviously she lost. It's just the demonization of white people these days it's just a huge rebuttal to Democrats. It hurts them so much, and they obviously do not have the brain to comprehend the pain.
We are tired, and this is our time for us to rise up. One people, one nation, under the vine, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hello, Democrats. Hey, I am speaking, and I would love your attention. There is a black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me. Yes.
There's a black woman on this podium. So? What? There was a black woman before you, lady. And obviously, being a black woman is no different than being a white woman. Being an Asian woman. So being a black woman, obviously Democrats are going to perk up. Oh, black woman! Eyes and ears open. We got to pay respect to the black woman. Of course, but normal Americans will just roll their eyes and laugh. Like, seriously? Seriously, lady? Seriously.
I am speaking. Good evening, Democrats. Look up here. 3 strong black women standing before you. 3 black women who, rather than just grabbing a chair, ran for chair. Te quiero mucho, papá. Gracias por todo. My name is Artie Blanco, Freddie Blanco's daughter. Vote for me for vice chair.
Look at this room, y'all. Truly take it in. This is the Democratic Party. We are our strongest when we stand together.
We are in a time in this country when our democracy and our rights are under attack. We're at a time where black and brown people, women, and other minorities are being blamed for everything that's wrong with this country. So let's fight together for a stronger and more inclusive Democratic Party. Good afternoon, DNC! Let me say something. Over the last several days, we've seen what happens when we have the wrong people in powerful places. And so today, I ask for your support in electing me as your DNC vice chair because in a time of crisis, leadership matters. My people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We are sick and tired of being the last one hired and the first one fired. We are sick and tired of
And I've spent the last 15 years fighting for the American people, all 340 million of them.
Work to do to organize, show up, and win. And that is why I'm asking the people.
Okay, we'll stop there because it cuts into Greg's time. We don't want to cut off Greg, but obviously, continuing on with our coverage, we got to talk about the actual winner, fellow Minnesotan, Mr. not Swallow, but Mr. blank on your name, but we'll get into that name. But here's our lady here. She's going to go and she's going to bash. Of course, they have to hire MSNBC, the most diluted, deranged network in America, to actually hold this forum. So let's go ahead.
Large part, about 1/3 of Trump's advertising budget went specifically to this one ad. It was about gender-changing surgeries for a small number of transgender, incarcerated, undocumented immigrants. These particular ads ended with the line, "Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you." Governor O'Malley, I want to start with you. How should Democrats respond to this attack?
Our party.
Here's the winner. He's from Minnesota. He's Tim Walz's big guy, the big guy, and from Minnesota. He is responsible for, I would say, should we be worried about him? He's been leading victories. I would say he's a strong candidate. Is he strong? Yeah, I don't think he's strong. For the state party, yes. But for national Democrats, I don't think this guy is leading the wrong message, though. Minnesota, they're fine. Minnesota, it's not that this guy's so good. It's not the Minnesota GOP is so bad. It's just so weak. They don't know how to win elections. This guy's just a dumbhead. Like, literally, he gets pushed around. He's losing rural communities. Minnesota's Republicans still don't know how to win. So I'm not worried about him and the destruction that he will cause if his party wins some races. But let's go ahead and see what this clown has to say. He's the winner. He's Mr. Martin, the Tim Wallace's pen pal, not pen pal, but little barking bulldog.
Has to live its values. And you can do both. I thought Governor Beshear's op-ed in the New York Times several months ago was absolutely right. We can focus on what unites all parts of our coalition, right? Think about this in Minnesota. What unites a corn farmer with a steel worker on the Iron Range with a new refugee in the Twin Cities? It's economics, right? It's kitchen table issues. It's what Faz was talking about. At the end of the day, we can focus on that. the things that unite. But when people are being harassed and bullied and pushed out of conversations and attacked, of course, we're going to live our values, because I agree with Governor O'Malley. Everyone has dignity. Our party believes that no matter where you're from, no matter where you live, no matter who you love or who you are, you have dignity, and we're going to fight for you. And that's what we're going to do as a Democratic Party. Let me just start by saying we have one team. One team. That's right. The Democratic Party. We have one fight. We have one fight. The fight's not in here. The fight's out there, right? The fight's not in here. The fight is for our values. The fight is for working people. The fight right now is against Donald Trump and the billionaires who bought this country. That's the fight, not in here. I want to thank all of you. Thank you to the DNC members who have put their faith in my vision for our party. I am honored and humbled for every one of you who supported me. Hi, I'm Ken Martin, the new chair of the Democratic National Committee. I am so honored to serve in this role. Let me tell you 3 quick things about myself. 1, I've been the chair of the Minnesota DFL, which is the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, for the last 14 years. 2, and more importantly, we've used the power that we built in Minnesota to have generational change that's impacting the lives of hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans right now. 3, we need to expand this model nationwide. We need to contest races up and down the ballot, and we need to win in every zip code for this Democratic Party.
And you're not going to do it. I'm just saying, with this rhetoric you're doing, we have to do this and this and this. We got to win every race. We got to win in Wisconsin, guys. That's coming up in April 1st, Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. Really? I mean, I think Democrats have a good shot there. I'm just saying from the polls and the demographics I'm seeing, but I'm not going to be surprised if they lose unexpectedly. The American people are coming out en masse. 57%, guys, of Americans say, Democrats, bad. Democrats, not good. Not good. They do not represent us. They are so out of touch. And we honestly don't care what Donald Trump does. You're just so bad. We don't want you back. So, this is obviously this is our far left winner, David Hogg, the gun snatcher, who survived the shooting. The Democrats will go and fly him around and say, he's a survivor! I am a survivor! Survivor! Rightfully so. Understandable. But there's a thing about saying I'm a survivor and trying to raise awareness of the issue than saying I'm a survivor to try to raise money, to try to get power, to use a tragedy to gain fame, glory, money, and power. That's what Democrats are doing with David Hogg. They will go and defend David Hogg, like they will smack down any Republican. Oh, how dare you attack David Hogg? He's a survivor. Yeah, and so was Nancy Mace. She was raped as a girl. And you go and attack her for actually stating her concerns and her trauma that she rightfully is dealing with having Sarah McBride of Delaware an actual grown man walking in to the woman's restroom because he thinks he's a man. He's a woman. No, Nancy Mace, irrelevant. Not a concern. She's just a white Christian lady. Doesn't matter if she was raped and went through her trauma. So see how it goes. If you're a Democrat and you went through something traumatic, then we're going to parade you around, we're going to smooch your cheeks, and we're going to snuggle you up. But if you're a Republican, we don't care. You went through it, tough times, life is hard. And honestly, and they'll just accuse you of just feeding into your own problems. It's just disgusting. So here's David Hogg.
Are you ready to go on the offense? Yeah. We have to win back our young people. I am the only candidate in this race for any of these positions that is under 30.
And are you going to take out Harry Sisson? I'm kind of interested. Harry Sisson. Imagine everyone flocks to this guy. Harry Sisson's going to be broke. And maybe that's a good news of this. We don't need to hear about Harry Sisson crying. The young people were supposed to follow him. He said that we were going to be the resistance after Trump won in 2024. That's what Harry Sisson said. But now this guy's using Harry Sisson's talking points, and he has a higher rank. He's the DNC co-chair, vice chair. But here's the thing. Both Harry and David, they have so much in common. They're just so emotional. They're unmanly. They are unrelatable. And they clap and kiss the cheeks of feminists. So, they're too feminine. They associate themselves too much with the woman. That's not going to get men to your party. So, interesting to say. I mean, the only successful thing I hope Hogg does is totally wipe out all the woke people that follow Harry Sisson.
We had a 20-point shift to the right of our young people. Yep. We must show our young people we give a damn about them, that we support them, and we invest in them. I have raised over $11 million in the past year to support the future of our party, because I don't just tweet, I don't just talk the talk, I also walk the walk and I knock the knock in doors across the country, but I'm counting on you in this moment right now. I need your support, please.
All right, and we're done with that. Okay. So, yeah, the gun snatcher of America. Now, let's get to talking about how, of course, okay, there's Greg. Okay, so, yes, we're talking about how they actually elected. They're so weird. They like to say, Republican, J.D. Vance, Trump, they're so weird. Weird. Now, this is weird. So, they have a stupid way of electing, different people, and that's by gender. I'll let this guy explain it.
That when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
That's
so again,
silly.
This is what we have to do for this vice chair race.
We
have to elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. To ensure our process accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates, we conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules.
This is woke, guys. Wokeism.
Our process will be slightly different than the one outlined to you earlier this week. But I hope you will see that in practice, it is simple and transparent. The order of balloting is designed to ensure equal access to the ballot, regardless of gender identity. As we must elect a candidate of any gender as well as 1 male and 1 female vice chair, we will first ask members to elect a candidate of any gender on the first ballot. Any candidate, male, female, and non-binary, can be elected on that ballot. After a candidate is elected on the first ballot, we'll have 1 officer of the 3. So then we will know which position is filled of the 1 male, 1 female, and 1 vice chair of any gender. Our second ballot would also be for a candidate of any gender. Then our third ballot will be the 3rd position that is remaining based on the 2 results.
Okay. 3 minutes of explaining nonsense I cannot comprehend. Honestly can care less. I'm not in this committee. I'm not even a part of this, so I'm not worried. I'm not freaking out. So supposedly what I'm comprehending is this sort of like a nomination process. Every single candidate has to have a nominee. You must have you must be represented. You have to have one man to represent the male. You got one person to represent the female. The one person to represent this gender. One person to represent that gender, whatever these genders on the board are called. There's him, their, her, she, his, she. This is like Chinese words, like she. Have you ever heard of the clans from China? This is like Qi, Wei, Han, Yan. This is what it reminds me of. But I'm just, let's see how this actually plays out. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's confused right now.
His operation.
Okay, let's see what Greg has to say.
It's even on gender right now.
It's evenly split.
Yes.
So.
I'm so sorry. Hi, Brad Tommy, former parliamentarian.
Okay, so they're having problems because their thing is just so screwed up. Here's the thing: you make it sounds fair and good. You're giving people opportunity, representation, but it's just too complicated, screwed up. As you can clearly see, they're confused, and they're going to spend, I don't know, the rest of the video talking about it.
For the chair, if she would. What happens? So that's assuming that so few candidates get zero that we can sustain 6 additional losses on top of that. What happens if we have 8 candidates who get zero on this round? Do we have to eliminate those 6, or would they be eligible again on a subsequent round? So what happens if we?
So it's 4. So
It's down to 4.
See?
Right. But what happens if 8 people get zero and then we eliminate 4? Then we've eliminated 12 candidates of whatever's there. So the question is, so it's down to 4. Let's just say that of the remaining candidates, and I'm not doing math, so please correct my numbers on there. What if 8 candidates get zero? We eliminated an additional 4. Do we have, or 9 or whatever candidates get zero? We eliminated an additional 4. Do we have enough candidates remaining to elect a full slate? Even if they're all women who get zero, and then we eliminate based on that?
The motion was...
I feel bad for the translator. She has to do lots of sign languaging.
We drop the 4 lowest performing candidates in the next round, 2 men, 2 women, as well as anyone who gets zero, for a maximum, up to 4 gender balanced would get dropped.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. So that's pretty much the DNC drama. And it happened to be that this guy was elected, and the fact that you're just so far left with the gun control rhetoric. Here's the thing, guys. Republicans, I'm pro-life, very anti-abortion, extremely anti-abortion. I'm like the opposite of David Hogg in regards to the issues. I'm sure he's very pro-abortion, but I would say but I think he's more anti-gun than pro-abortion. I would describe myself as more anti-abortion than pro-gun. So we could relate when it comes to that, but obviously, I recognize that the abortion issue is a killing issue for Republicans. It's an issue that Republicans need to take consideration to. Rightfully so, Republicans moderated their views. They realized, hey, look, if we continue to go with this, abortion's murder, abortion's murder, abortion's murder, you stop supporting murder, this is not going to win over voters. Period. It's not going to help bring people to your coalition. It's not. It really isn't. So ultimately, in results to that, I can understand and say, you know what? I'm still anti-abortion. I believe that abortion, there needs to be consideration. We need scientific research to stop people from getting abortions. And you shouldn't get an abortion. That should be outlawed. Because if we have measures and implications, and that's why I think Republicans need to focus on figuring out how we can save the woman's life and giving the baby at the same time. That should be the priority. Stop finding loopholes and trying to ban abortion. That's not going to do anything. Actually do the work and then try to go back to that. Because what is giving lots of people anxiety is that women that have health issues or that are in danger of losing their lives are forced to give their birth to their baby. And that's a huge powerhouse of the abortion issue. So obviously, in regards to that, so this is obviously what's going on now. But I don't think, yes, David Hogg and Democrats don't understand. They think everyone supports banning guns because they think guns kill people. Actually, no, guns don't kill people. It's the people that use them that kill people. Like Mr. Cruz. It's kind of ironic that David Hogg wouldn't unleash his anger at Mr. Cruz and all these heinous men like Adam Lanza and all these murderers. Forget about them, he says. Blame the object. Blame the object that has zero dignity. Drop it on the side of the road and leave it. Zero dignity. Zero meaning. And an object that has totally taken over the country in regards to politics. It's kind of ironic. But you'll see how Democrats play their game. But what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.